Oh wait, I need to hit this first. 3, 2, 1, go. Ironically, some of the levels that I thought I had proven done perfectly ended up being broken because 8-4 you get a star. And I think... No, I knew that something was off. I guess originally I knew that 19-3, I thought I had it perfectly until I realized that there were some moving blocks you could stand on to save time. And then I eventually broke what was the perfect time that I thought I had. But I only did that once. And I realized at a certain point that if I wanted to get super consistent, it would help to have a very consistent set of jumps that were always either full jumps or really small tap jumps. And so a lot of my level routing is specifically designed around that. And particularly the place that shows up the most is in 6-2, where my route is designed such that you actually only have to do full jumps and small tap jumps in order to do 6-2 the way that I do. Whereas if you do 6-2 the much less deadly way, I think you do a more intermediate jump to land on the end of the platform. Like you just do a different jump to make that happen. And as I was doing that, that's when I started deciding, like, if I have specific jump spots and I always do full jumps at those spots, then I should be 100% consistent at the level, because there won't be any randomness to it, there won't be anything I have to manually adjust for, it's just look at the spot, do the jump at the spot. So I actually have ridiculously detailed notes for some levels using exactly that methodology. I don't think I have it for this one, because this one involves the staircase climb, and like, how do you put that in perfect notes? But I have it for, which ones do I have? 1-3, 3-2, 4-1. The one with the, I think it's 9-4, like the one with the chain chomps and the pipe. Like those levels, I actually have ridiculously long charts for, and the detail exactly by cue for when to jump, and exactly what type of jump to do, spin jump, full jump, partial, like tap jump, and then any other notes, and alternate routes for some of those too. And notes on how to get the one up versus on the flagpole versus not. Like my notes are weirdly complicated, but they're there. Like, if anyone wants very specific jump guidance for levels like this, let me know. But I slowly moved away from that as I got more confident. But like this one, I'm mostly doing just full jumps at specific background spots. And as I got better again, I can sort of deviate from that a little bit, but you'll notice my route does that. Like, I can't always do full jumps from my spots like that. You may be wrong here, but you think the important thing with the jump is to have enough momentum when you press jump, because that allows Mario to jump higher. And with that jump, if you do try to do a full jump from a standstill or from slow speed and you hit the spring, or from slow speed you hit the spring, and if you're going fast enough you jump high enough to clear it. Yes, again, as long as you do the around route. The trick is if you hit the cinder block and you have too little momentum, you fall straight down. You don't actually die. So that's why I feel fairly confident saying that my mistakes there are on the angle and not necessarily on the full jump height. Oh wow, that was like such a nice fire pattern. Bowser, why? Why do you give me such nice fire patterns sometimes and such mean ones other times? Sad face. Oh, we're actually ahead of World 1 though. I'm usually not ahead in World 1. Just because 1-2 is so back and forth. Juice, remind me if I have to reset again, and we'll go take a look at it and we'll do some lab work on it. Tea time again. I like having tea. Yay. Okay, sure. Awesome. It is tricky though. Like, that's at least my mental model of how it works, but it could be that my mental model's off, so we'll definitely have to give it a second look. Alright, swimming time. Already pre-spamming my A button. Yay! Oh, there's a cool thing I saw on Twitter today. So there's a Twitter account that just posts like Mario facts, but it's mostly like Mario glitches that are facts than anything else. And the one they did today was around how in New Super Mario Brothers, not New Super Mario Brothers Z, but New Super Mario Brothers, there's some glitch that can happen, I think by accident, where the random number generator gets broken and will only generate 5 outcomes instead of its normal like millions. And it was cool to them to talk about like how that affected the game and where that showed up in the game. And they didn't, it wasn't really enemies so much that they were talking about, but it was like, apparently the backgrounds in those games, if you have like a large solid background block, like let's say it was a cliffside that's supposed to have rocks in it, those rocks were randomly generated. And so when you break this RNG, the cliffside will just have no rocks in it and it will just look like a solid line or solid panel as a result. And one of the other ones I was thinking about because of the swimming level is that bubbles will come out of pipes in that game. And the pipe or the bubble sort of like where it spawns, where it goes is random. But if you have this RNG bug, all of the bubbles will spawn in a neat vertical line. Like, there will be no back and forth bubbles. They'll just be like a continuous, very specific line of bubbles that's happening. I think the other one was like when you beat a certain enemy, like coins would sort of explode everywhere. But if the RNG was broken, then all the coins would just become one coin and move together because there was no randomness to determine which angle they should move off to. So that was kind of fun. It was an interesting one for sure. I don't remember what the account name is, unfortunately, but got some cool stuff. Well, we know this won't be B because you didn't miss the World 1 split. Yeah. Rip run. Maybe, okay, but what if I world record instead? Hee. Loopholes. That don't actually work because they're the same thing. But that's okay, I can still try, you know? I've got to at least try to mess with fate every once in a while. See if I can catch a break on it. Oh boy. Alright, levels happening. Really, that's so I know, right? It was such a cool random fact. That's why I like that account. There's just so many random things. One other ones from the other day is that in Super Mario Sunshine, in Rico Harbor, there's a level that's somewhat infamous, and like as soon as they mention this, it's like, oh yeah, this one. Where you ride around on like a blooper, and that's fine. You do like a little race course, you collect some red coins, it's all nice and straightforward, except once you get the final red coin, you still can't get off the blooper, and the shine sprite that you need to grab is on a non-water platform. That's like weirdly difficult to get on top of with a blooper, especially like if you're a kid, which I was. So it's like this really ends up being really frustrating because you spend all this time going around this race course on a blooper that's already kind of difficult to control, especially if you pick the wrong color, collecting all the red coins, and then you see the shine sprite spawn, and you just like can't. Like the game's like, no, you just die right at the end because if your blooper runs into that platform, I think you game over. So it's super frustrating. But the account was posting that it technically is possible to get off the blooper in that level if you like run into one of the locals who's in an inner tube at the right time in the right way. Like, what the heck? Who found this? How did anyone find this? But that would help casually for that level. Although it's probably harder to get the glitch to happen than it is to just beat the level normally. But again, fun random facts. So why not? See, FIFA got world record makes sense to me. See? Should be fine. Should be fine. I got the backup plans ready to go. Oh, you saw that fact and your mind was blown? Right, it's such a cool one. Oh yeah, you're learning Sunshine, aren't you, Juice? Hopefully that's going well. Sunshine is definitely, like, I love watching that speedrun. They had a Sunshine run in Calithon that was really cool. Always interesting to see, like, especially the movement in the non-flood levels, like, oh, that can look so good. I think partially because it looks so much like Mario 64, but with like a little bit more to it. Like momentum spin jumps, oh my goodness, those seem like really frustrating to deal with. But clearly they make a difference when you can pull them off. As those things where I realized, like, I watch a lot of speedrunning apparently. Because when I was doing my host shift, like there's donations for upcoming games, and I was able to like at least talk about what those things might be and like what the donations might be, a little about the speedrun game that was coming up, and it was like, yeah, I watch a lot of GDQ apparently, but it's worth it. So much fun. I love watching speedruns because you end up learning so much about the game, and also it looks cool, right? Like it's just twofold awesomeness. Like with Mario 64, you learn a lot about how that game was coded, what does and doesn't work, maybe even a parallel universe or two. But then it also just looks really clean. Same thing with Mario Sunshine, right? Learning, okay, this is how the game checks for the end of the world. This is how you can skip certain levels. Oh, by the way, this doesn't work, this does. Like, I don't know. Just learning how games are made is a really cool thing for me. I love just learning stuff. Oh boy. Oh, you've already learned any percent, but you're learning 120 shines for the first time? Dang. Is there a reason you're... Oh yeah, he mentioned that the reason he's picked up this game was to practice longer categories. Is 120 close to 2 hours as well? Yeah, games are super interesting, right? And some of my favorite college classes were making video games. I was lucky that those were just like college classes I could take. But I ended up making like one video game where you're a bunny and you have to like solve little platforming puzzles my freshman year, and that one was... It was interesting. Like there's a lot of things I would do better. But it was fun, and there was a bunny, and so I was happy. And then my senior year we did a puzzle platforming co-op game where like you were stick figures running around, and like one of the key elements of that game was seesaws. because it sort of forced you into a two-player dynamic where you had to have one person jump on the seesaw so the other person could get flung up and get like an item or something. Like it was our way of initially having an intuitive item that forced you into a co-op mechanic. So I kind of miss that game. Part of me, like every few months, part of me is like, oh, I should pull that game out again and try to polish it up and do something with it. But like the other part of me is also doing 20 projects at once. So like maybe not. Dang, I'm Weird Mario. Look at this. Look at this character. It's also just insulting they put Weird Mario in, who acts like Luigi in terms of physics. But nope, couldn't put Luigi in. That would have been too wild. Luigi in a Mario game? Too wild to handle. Hi, Fireball. Oh, and speaking of games, they're gonna do it. Oh, I'm so excited. So this has just been like a good season, I guess, for games that I like coming out. Like Pokemon Snap's coming out, I think, end of this month, which I'm super excited for. But something that just got announced, I think today, is that they're gonna do English versions or English releases on Switch and PC and other systems, but like I want to play them on Switch, of 2 Phoenix Wright games that were never actually released in the West. They never got official translations into English either. There's fan translations, but no official ones, which is kind of wild. And these games are like set in the past. They seem really epic. I'm so excited for them. I absolutely love Phoenix Wright as a series. So, really looking forward to those ones. Like, oh, I can't wait. And those are going to be out in like July or something, so it's not like they're coming out too soon, but July isn't that far away. I'll take that. Good games coming out this summer. Please. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited already. 120 is 3 hours if you're really good, but your first ones are probably way longer. Yeah. The difference between your first run and your last run in a game, I think, grows exponentially with just how long that game is. Right? Like, my first official run of this game, after I learned all the levels, was, I think, my 212. And after months and months, right? Like, or after however long it's been, I've gotten it down, but I've only gotten it down by, like, 20 minutes, right? Whereas, I think, if you look at the 100% category of this game, the time went from 12 hours to 8 hours. So definitely a bit of a difference there. Oh my goodness. Green Mario discrimination? I know. I loved Year of Luigi when that happened. I've always been a Luigi fan because I feel like he gets overlooked, and so I just like feel bad for him and want him to have more friends. And also I loved Luigi's Mansion as a kid. And I feel like out of the games that I played as a kid that had Mario or Luigi in them, Luigi's Mansion gave the most personality to its protagonist. Where, like, I played Mario 3, I played the original Mario Brothers, but Mario doesn't really have, like, a personality in those games. I think in World he got a little bit of one with his between... Oh, really, game? Come on. With his between level animations, or between world animations, I think. Oh, hey, I managed to get all the way back up in time. Yay, I can fly. And, like, Melee, there were some cutscenes for Mario and Luigi, but they each had cutscenes, so it's not like either of them... I found out more about one brother than the other, and the cutscenes are pretty small in that game. But Luigi's Mansion feels like you actually get to know Luigi because you have these very full cutscenes with Luigi in them. I guess Sunshine would be the other game that was 3D, also GameCube era, had full cutscenes. But those cutscenes were so not focused on Mario. Like in the cutscenes, Mario's just there like, ah! Like that's all the cutscenes with Mario in them. Whereas in Luigi's Mansion, you see Luigi start to like be scared of things, gain a little bit of confidence. Like, I think one of the coolest details in that game, one of the coolest details in games in general, is that whenever you open a door in that game, there's an animation. I think it's the first time you open any door, like you're unlocking it, there's an animation of Luigi putting the key in, turning the key, and then putting his hand on the doorknob and turning the doorknob to open the door. And like, it's probably really annoying if you're speedrunning the game because like, it's kind of repetitive, but the coolest detail that they added in is that when you first start the game, his hand is visibly shaking. He's incredibly hesitant. It's just so obvious from even the way his hand is opening the door that he's flat out terrified. Oh, I missed it. It was closer though. By the time you get to the end of the game, every single time you open a door in that game with a key, that animation plays, but his hand's a little bit steadier. And maybe it's not every single time, but it felt like it was every single time. So by the time you get closer to the end of the game, he's opening doors almost without hesitation. Like, you see character growth in a Mario game, but really in a Luigi game. So I think that was the other reason I really liked him, is I felt like I could connect to him, right? There was more personality that I could see and make him feel like a real person, where Mario always just sort of feels plastic, you know? He doesn't ever get a personality. Luigi gets a lot more personality than Mario does, I think. I also didn't play like Paper Mario or any of the RPG games. Maybe he gets more personality there, but I did play Mario and Luigi like Dream Team or something, and they didn't get personality. Everyone else did, but Mario still felt like he was just like his amiibo, just kind of there. He was doing cool things and all, but just kind of there. Like his personality traits in the game I remember playing that was RPG style with Mario was just, he has a good mustache and he can jump high. And those are not personality traits, but like that's all the game cared about with Mario. Like they didn't care about whether or not he was compassionate, whether or not he was helping people, whether or not he was like ignoring everyone and doing a bunch of side quests because he wanted 100% the game. Like no one cared. He just existed. Whereas again, Luigi, you could feel his emotions coming through the screen. Poor guy. That was a terrifying, traumatic experience for him. Alright, I need to split. I'm watching my splits. I did the splits! Woo! We're gonna keep going. Oh hey, we're back to 5-1. We get a look at that level again. I say thanks. Luigi's Mansion looks really good. I know! Oh, you're too young for a GameCube, unfortunately. Luigi's Mansion, it was a fun one. They did re-release it though on Switch, which was awesome. And then did they re-release it? Did they just make the sequel? They might have re-released it on a different system. I'm trying to remember now if they did that on DS. I feel like I've played it a second time. But they did a DS version of Luigi's Mansion that was pretty fun, and then they did like a really good sequel to it on Switch, which that was one of the earlier launch games. I have like a Gooigi sweatshirt, or a shirt, which is the alternate version of Luigi that appears in that game, because literally Luigi doesn't get friends unless he makes them out of goop from a vacuum cleaner. Poor guy. But I have a shirt of that. See, like, yeah, I'm hitting the blocks. Like, I don't think I missed any of the full jumps. It's just this last one, I cut it really close because I didn't hit the block. We'll lab it after the next run finishes, but pretty sure that's what I'm doing there. But around the same time that was coming out was PAX in where I live, so I got to go to like a video game convention basically. Super fun, love doing that. Obviously it didn't happen last year with coronavirus, but still. And so I did stop by the Nintendo store they had there and like bought a Gooigi shirt, and then I still love that one. I think it technically glows in the dark a little bit. That game was awesome. Definitely played it like the weekend it came out. I generally don't play a ton of games the weekend they come out because I'm trying to like keep up with my game backlog, or there's other stuff going on that weekend. But there are definitely some games where when they come out, I will play them. Pokemon Snap is going to be another one. That was a close jump there at the end. See you, new strat. Thanks, Juice. Oh man, TED Talk on why Luigi games are superior. Lols. Like, just, again, in terms of characterization, I feel like Luigi's gotten more characterization over the years. Like, if you think about good characters when you're telling stories, good characters are supposed to grow. They're supposed to want something. They're supposed to change. Mario is supposed to be kind of perfect, right? He doesn't have flaws other than, like, he dies if he runs into enemies, but, like, okay, sure. That's not a character flaw. He just is sort of the superhero character, right? He can do whatever. Whereas Luigi has this clear flaw of being scared, right? He wants his brother there to support him. He feels anxious when he's on his own. And so because he has a flaw, you can show him overcoming it. And that's where you get like good characterization, good character growth. And that's the sort of thing that's going to make you care about a specific character in a story, a movie, a television show, whatever it is. You want to see characters overcoming what's stopping them and making them get better. I think there's a lot of conversations about this with Marvel in particular, where that's one of the reasons that the first Iron Man movie was so good. It's because Iron Man had a lot of problems, but you saw him realize that he had problems and then start to work on improving them. So you saw him grow as a person, and that's what made you care about him so much. Whereas like Captain Marvel, when they did her movie, she never really seemed to learn anything. She never really seemed to grow. She was pretty overpowered, so she didn't really have flaws that she had to work around. And that's why I think a lot of people didn't like that movie. So there's my 2 cents on characters in video games and why Luigi is awesome and has more personality than Mario. There's also, of course, all the fan personality. Like, I still love that slow motion clip of him like angrily preparing to like completely murder Mario in Mario Kart. Oh boy. They released it on Switch was like an upgrade. Okay. New strat time to gold. Unfortunately, I missed a bunch of spring jumps, and I don't know exactly what the trade-off is on spring jumps to that time save, but I think the spring jumps save more time just because it costs you more time to miss them. Like, they probably save less time than if I put the spring down and did the normal jump, But because my best probably has some of them in it, I don't know if it'll actually beat it, but we'll see. If I ever get that and all 3 spring jumps in a run, then it should be a PB. And don't mess up the Koopa section. There's technically time save on 5-1 because you can get past the first section without slowing down. It's just really, really difficult. Like, you can jump around the double stack Koopas there, you can jump around the pipe and just never slow down whatsoever, but yeah, not exactly easy to time. And it unfortunately doesn't save enough time in the IL to meet the next second, so it's not actually required for the IL even. But I made sure it was in my IL because I was salty and wanted to make sure my IL had a cool thing that I liked. Oh, missed the jump input there at the end. Okay. Waiting patiently for my split time. I'm like now way too focused on doing splits. I'm like freezing, doing nothing but staring at the split timer as it's counting down like I need to split. Oh well. Hey, didn't die in 5-1 that time though, so that's good. Oh, unfortunately your superhero comparison was lost on me because you live under a rock and you don't watch, but you get what you're saying. Okay, yeah. Like, I mean, trying to think. Like, Superman versus, like, Spider-Man's another one. Where Superman, one of the biggest issues with him is he just doesn't have, any weaknesses. And this is irrespective of movie universe, so this is, like, comic books as well. Whereas, so people have to, like, manufacture weaknesses for him. And he's not really changing as a person because he's always just a good guy. And, like, an aggressively good guy. Good guy to the point where he is the goodest guy, right? Whereas Spider-Man has to deal with the fact that he screwed up and didn't help someone when he could have, and that's why his uncle is dead, right? He has this huge weight he's carrying around, this huge motivation to get better and do things differently than he did in his past. Like, spoilers if you didn't know that Uncle Ben died at the beginning of Spider-Man. Hopefully that wasn't a revelation for anyone. But even without seeing the movies, if you're familiar with those characters at all, same sort of principle applies. Like, why a lot of people really like Spider-Man as a result. Okay, need tea again. There we go. Got my tea sorted. I've been like, one of the reasons I'm super into character stuff right now is I've been reading, what is it called? Save the Cat, How to Write a Novel? I think it is. I'm blanking on the exact title, but it's something about saving a cat. And I think originally it was a book about how to write screenplays, but they made a novel version on how to write novels. And the reason that they have the title Save the Cat, oh, that's so scary. It is, and it's dumb that I still do it this way. I should learn the safer one, but I just haven't. The reason the book is called Save the Cat is because of the idea that you need your audience to like the character really soon and have a reason to root for them, either in a novel or a screenplay, like either way. You want your audience on the side of your main character. And the easiest, like, if your character is sort of an anti-hero or like maybe it's going to be a little difficult for the audience to like, you just need them to do something likable very, very early on. And so the example is just have your character save a cat from a tree or something, like show that they're a good person. And like The Incredibles is a movie that like legit does that. Mr. Incredible saves a cat from a tree like a minute in. But it's a really cool book and it talks a lot about how plot, like the way you think about storytelling in terms of the action that happens, that's good and you should have that. But if it doesn't connect back to your character in a meaningful way and specifically connect back to how they're growing and changing and hopefully improving as a person, it's not going to stick in people's heads. It's not going to be as impactful or interesting of a story as if it was connected, right? That's what changes something from a sequence of events that is connected but not necessarily meaningful to a sequence of very meaningful moments because you see how your character is reacting to them. Like, for example, if you take like a basic teen movie, right? Let's say that there's a big prom at the end of the year. Well, if the story was that the main character missed prom, like, it would be sad because, you know, people want to go to prom. It's a special experience. But if you know that this character has been dreaming about prom since they were 2 and planning for it, and they built their dress for prom by hand over the course of 6 months, using materials that they had saved and borrowed from friends, and scrounged up from their part-time job that they hated but wanted to continue because they really wanted this dream dress, and they wanted to have their dream moment of walking in and seeing someone's face when they had this amazing outfit on. Right? Suddenly the fact that they're missing prom is a lot more meaningful. It's a lot more sad. Like, just saying, oh, they missed prom, sad face, is not the same as, like, understanding why that means so much to the character. And so that's why, like, understanding characters and their journey and their wants, even if their wants aren't really what they should want, like, realistically the point of the story is going to be that prom moment isn't what you were looking for, it was the friends you made along the way, right? That sort of deal. That's why it's so important to have good characters and to have make sure your audience can understand what your characters want and how they feel about and react to the world around them. Like, usually the most important part of a scene isn't like specifically what happened, it's again, what did that mean for the character? Like, what does the character think about this? So, cool story writing book. I'm enjoying reading it. It's also giving examples from random other stories, so it's fun to see them try to break down the plot structure of famous stories, like using their own personal, like, I don't know, copyrighted fancy save the cat writing model that they've got. I also almost hit start over on that level, and that would have been really sad. Like, if I hit start over on 6-3, I would have actually started, well, I probably would have actually started crying, but it would have had a long, heavy sigh, and then I would have signed off because I would have been completely drained of energy to do anything else today besides be sad about that. Oh my goodness, 6-3 is so long. Better than starting over on 14-4, I guess, but like, still, just ouchies. Okay, I still want to learn how I skipped springs once on this level, and I have some idea of how I did it, but I've never been able to do it again. I try for it every run now just in case, but I still can't figure it out. Okay. There we go. Problem where like stay in my room, play Mario. I mean, that's also fine, right? But then in that case, maybe the story is that you had to go to prom and you learned that, oh, you know, social things, you've got friends, I don't know, right? Your character arc would look different. If that's the whole point though, right? Like the same event can be interpreted so many different ways depending on who the main character is. So in the movie about Juice's life, missing prom is a good thing because you get to play more Mario games. And that's at least you getting world record in every Mario game in existence. But in my made-up character's life, that would have been a terrible thing. Right? Or in your arc, maybe it's you have to go to prom. And for the other character, that would have been like, well, yeah, she wants to. Backup strat. And for your arc, that would be like, are you kidding me? I have to go out and see people? Like, I don't know if that's actually how you think about it. But right, that's why, it's an excellent way to point out why character makes such a difference. Is how you interpret those moments is what makes the story happen. Oh man. If you hit start over, you can save and quit and then go to the next level or not. I don't think you can, but honestly, I haven't tried that. If this run completely dies, remind me to try that out. We can see if that works. Hehehe. Oh my goodness. One of the things I'm still mildly annoyed about is like, with the whole everyone trying to, you know, stay home, stay safe, all those sorts of things. So many people were saying like, oh, this is gonna be so great for introverts. Like, introverts are celebrating right now. And like, well, yeah, there's some things introverts have that like equip them to stay inside. Like, I can play video games all day and I'm not worried about not being able to leave my house for a week. That doesn't mean that like, I never want to see people ever, right? There's still some social interaction that I'd like, it's just, I only want so much. That's one of the things that was nice about joining the speedrun community is it like gave me some of that interaction back, that like, okay, I do exist as a person, other people exist too. Oh, this is Bob, by the way. So that one-up mushroom is Bob. And the reason Bob is a really good friend is because we're super outnumbered on this level, like with how many enemies are trying to murder us and how long they've got to try to murder us. And so Bob is the only thing in this level that's really on our side. You know, he's coming with us. He's helping us take down those evil enemies. So that's Bob. Bob's awesome. Anyway though, if everyone's like, oh, it's gonna be great for introverts, they're fine. It's like, no, humans are social creatures. Just the fact that you like to play video games or you don't like to go to parties all weekend does not mean that being restricted to your house with zero opportunity for social interaction is magically a good thing. So, oh well. But I have my first vaccine appointment on Monday. Yay! So, getting closer to being able to like unlock some friendship things again and like play tennis even, right? Like that's a thing where tennis is kind of a social activity, but so much more of it is just the stress relief of hitting something for like an hour. Like that sounds terrible, but really it's focusing on the match, focusing on the tennis thing, and not thinking about work, not thinking about speedrunning or anything else. Just like mind off of stuff that can cause stress, mind on, hit the tennis ball, do the tennis thing. And even if that's like just one-on-one, I'm not talking to my opponent, that's something that I'm missing a lot more now because it feels less safe. Like, it is open, you could do it, but trying to be super cautious, I'm not playing tennis right now. That hurts my mental game, like, not just because I haven't been practicing mental games in tennis, but because that was a source of stress relief for me, and now I suddenly have to find a backup source of stress relief and good luck. If you can't find one, you're screwed, right? So definitely looking forward to things becoming safer again, so that there's more options when you're trying to look for ways to de-stress or to, you know, get your social quota in for the day, even if it's a small social quota. All of those things, like just having options on how to deal with stuff. I got the skip, yay, is always a good feeling. Sorry, that you can skip the checkpoint. It's not required. It loses half a second because it gives you the mushroom, but you have to do like a pretty precise jump pattern to get to it, so it's always a nice feeling when that works. Okay, splitting again. Look at these time gains. Man, 2 seconds. 2 whole seconds right there. Blazing through these levels. Oh my goodness. You got multiple things to lap. Well, much more important than this run. Okay, hey, it'll be much more important than this run if I get behind, but right now this run's not too bad. Oh, you did your first live Sunday? Congratulations! Yay! That's an exciting... I don't know, for me it's a super exciting milestone because of how much I feel like I haven't handled specifically working from home well, and how much I think less stress I'll have once I have it, and how much that's going to unlock for me in like feeling better about things again and not being so stressed and lots of positive stuff. So definitely excited for that change. Like, one of my goals this year was specifically to work on eating healthier. And one of the things that's good about doing that while working from home is that I'm much more in control of my meals. Like, I don't have to prep for them. I can still just eat dumb or eat whatever I have in my fridge, but just try to make sure that's the carrots and not the chocolate. Versus if I go into work, I usually order lunch from work, and those are not super healthy meals. Disadvantage, though, is it takes some amount of discipline to change a habit and to try to like specifically eat healthier. Takes effort. It takes decisions every single day to go, okay, I know that chocolate would sound better, but I'm going to eat the carrots instead. Or, oh man, I feel stressed right now, and I feel like I'd be happier, I'd be more comfortable or comforted if I had a donut right now, because that just feels like a happy food. But I'm going to try not to do that and try to find some other way to be less stressed instead. So it's been an interesting adventure. So far, pretty good. Last weekend was a pretty big setback just because I was doing dumb things with my sleep schedule to watch the marathon. But I was able to get back on track okay. Like, I'm feeling better as well about being able to recover into a healthy eating habit as opposed to, well, I had an entire chocolate bunny this weekend in one go at one time, and now I'm screwed forever. So, feeling more confidence in my ability to eat healthy when I choose to, when I've got the willpower to, has been a nice change this year. Positive things. I know, like, New Year's resolutions around healthy eating habits are super cliche, so I specifically try not to call them New Year's resolutions. It's yearly goals instead. Are those similar to New Year's resolutions? Yes, but I think the trick is that with a goal, it's easier... hitbox! Whee! With a goal, you don't necessarily fail the goal if you make a mistake. It's more of a setback, right? You can still reset and go after the goal again. Whereas with New Year's resolutions, a lot of times once you break them, they're broken. And there's less of a recovery mechanic for them, right? There's less... Once you've broken a New Year's resolution, no one expects you to start keeping it again because it's broken. You can't fix it. Whereas with a goal, you can always try again. You can always keep improving and keep moving toward it. So that's why I think I use that phrasing intentionally. One, because New Year's resolutions just sounds like things that are made to be broken. But two, so that when I do have setbacks, like I think about it as making mistakes, but more positively phrased, when I do have setbacks, not like I can't keep moving forward. Bonus level time. Hi, Giant Koopa. You exist. This music can feel so obnoxious. Like, this level I don't mind because this whole level is just supposed to be ridiculous, but I really hate it on 18.6. And it goes away after a while in 18.6 because you sort of outrun it, I think, but like, man, come on, that level's not meant for fun. Oh my goodness. Oh, P-switch jump, there we go. It's really cool you have like all the same hobbies as me, speedrunning, tennis, music. That is 3 hobbies, which is not a bad number to have. Maybe there's just a reason that those are commonly overlapped. Like, I know for me the reason that I like tennis more than some of the other sports, I used to do like basketball too, it's because with basketball you had to be so aggressively up close and personal with people. Like, I was always afraid of getting hurt or hurting someone, and with tennis it's like, there's the net. You have to stay on your side of that net. You can't come over to my side. I get all the space to myself. Like, that was one of my logic reasons for tennis. I also love the tennis mind game and everything. It's just a fun sport. Really enjoy it. Definitely miss it right now. Yeah, this is a pretty good run. The competition is firing you up. I mean, competition always makes things more exciting, right? We talked about that in your stream earlier today, for sure. Tennis is the only sport you play? I don't play any other ones anymore, but I did do basketball through junior high at least, before I switched and decided to focus exclusively on tennis. I did well in tennis in high school, but I didn't continue it much in college. Only really picked it up after I started working full-time again, but man, like I said, it's such a great form of stress relief. Probably the most obscure sport that I did is for one semester in college, I took a class on fencing. I remember I've talked about this on stream. I've told this story a number of times. I don't know if I've told it here. But fencing is really fun, right? It's just get a little sword, you get to try to stab people, but it's like very interesting to try to like have good reaction time on things and know what the patterns are and know how to dodge out, when to be aggressive, when to hold back. But one of the best parts about that class is one of the people in that class, like that sports class thing, was also one of the people working on that Seesaw video game with me. And we were friends, they're super nice and everything, think they're a good friend, but they got really into some of the more obscure, I'll say, coding patterns that we learned in our senior year. And they kept making these coding choices that they were not necessary. And they made our code harder to read. And it was so frustrating to try to like, dude, why did you replace a built-in keyword with your own custom function? It's a built-in keyword for a reason, bro. Like, clearly there's a little bit of frustration there. So one of the best parts was he was also in this class, and there was something extremely therapeutic about legally being able to stab at him every week. And to be fair, to be fully fair, I'm sure he got really frustrated by me, because I'm sure I micromanaged stuff and told everyone in my group what to do, because I'm sort of like that when I'm in group projects. And so he got to stab me too. It was not like this was one way or anything, but not gonna lie, that was an interesting form of therapy for sure. Not recommended. Do not do this outside of like supervised fencing classes with safety precautions and all the safety equipment and everything, but like, just saying, kind of worked out there. Oh my goodness. Very much an amateur at tennis, yeah. I mean, me too. I did varsity in high school, but like I was never the person who was gonna go to state or anything. Like, just for fun. And then like, the lowest rated you can get while still having been in varsity tennis, I think I'm at 3.5. I don't remember for sure though. But yeah, it's not like tennis is something where I'm like, I'm gonna be the best at tennis. I want to keep getting better just because I like getting better at things and I like being able to improve and feeling myself improve. But at the same time, like I'm just happy that I get to play. I'm not sitting there like I must win every match. It's like if it was a good match, I'm still happy at the end of it. Like, there could be matches where you lose, but you feel like you played well or you had a good time or it was a good back and forth challenge. And, like, that's fine. I'll take those matches. Those are good ones. Must win every point or you retire. So you take the same approach to tennis as speedrunning, huh? Where you're like, well, I'm not going to die anymore. That's the new rule. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, no. Could not do that with tennis. There was someone in one of my tennis classes one time who had, like, legit that sort of hyper-competitive mentality, and it made them so not fun to play with or against, because they just would fall apart as soon as something went wrong in a way that just made you feel like you didn't want to be there anymore. Like, they just sort of turned into a child, and it was like, why are you my doubles partner? If you're playing against them, it's just kind of like, okay, this is happening. And unfortunately, the coach for that class didn't keep them under control very well either, and like didn't call them out on the fact that they had little sportsmanship and pretty poor anger management, if none at all. But thankfully they ended up leaving when the teacher left, because I think they just liked that teacher because that teacher let them get away with stupid things. And the new teacher for that class is better, and they're no longer there. So that was a good one. That was the person I was most afraid was going to like legit injure someone, because they would try to hit the ball as hard as they could when they were upset. And in tennis, you have to keep the ball under control. It has to land inside of the court. Like, I can hit a tennis ball way harder than I can hit a tennis ball in a match, because in a match I have to keep it in. And unfortunately, that was somewhat dangerous. They were strong enough that could have injured someone if it hit them. So, very, very glad they're not in the class anymore. Like, they were good competition, but in a way that I wasn't worth risking, like, my cranium for. Oh my goodness. It'll be interesting to see how many people, like, are still in the same classes. Like, when I was doing tennis, I would sign up for the same class every month, And so sort of the same people would be in the class. So, you start to learn names, you start to like remember things about people, have conversations with them before or after. I'd usually try to get there pretty close to on time because I'm not great at small talk. But it was still like nice to recognize people. It made me feel more comfortable. Especially like I always get nervous that people are going to judge me like all the time for everything. Starting speedrunning on stream was an interesting one for me. Doing a marathon run was terrifying but also fun. And with tennis, that same thing. Like, I was always worried people were going to judge me, like, oh, you're not that good. Or especially in classes where I was the only girl, it was like, oh, no, you're going to think I'm bad because I'm a girl, and then I'm going to play bad, and then you're going to think all girls are terrible at tennis because women in sports and all this stupid stuff. But once you've played with people long enough, that goes away, right? I know that they know how good I am at tennis or, like, what my strengths are. Like, the thing I got known for in tennis was lobs. I could lob really well, and that was a great tool because I needed to play defensively a lot. I was not the best one in that class by a long shot. But once you get to know people, like, it's, again, just nice to see people. You kind of like, oh, hey, that's that person that I know. But then again, it was getting rid of some of that stress of judgment because I knew they knew me well enough to not judge me on a bad day, which, always nice. Yay. Oh, well. There's one match you played doubles where you and your partner had lost every single game all the way until the match game, where you won 3 games in a row, and although you didn't win, it was super satisfying. Oh yeah, those comeback runs, those feel so good. When suddenly you catch them off guard. And it's one of those things where like the comeback in a lot of sports can be easier than the victory flat out. Like one of the esports I love watching is League of Legends, and for their big tournaments, usually those finals matches are best 3 out of 5. I want to make sure I didn't die there. And usually, if one team goes down 2-0, like 0-2, and then makes a comeback up to 2-2, usually that team wins it. Like if you're 2 games into a comeback in a best of 5, you're usually winning the whole thing. Because it's one of those things where when you come back from something like that, you go from having an opponent that was... Please tell me that doesn't reactivate and kill me. Okay, we're good. You go for an opponent that's like super confident in what they're doing, to suddenly sort of breaking apart their mental game. Like they suddenly start losing, and if they can't figure it out quickly, like what changed, what they're doing differently, or what you've done differently, they've got no chance at recovering. And that scares people. That makes them nervous. So sometimes doing the comeback is actually easier than trying to stay ahead. There's also that phrase about like when you're ahead, sometimes you accidentally start playing not to lose instead of playing to win, and when you're behind, you've got to play to win. So there's that. That ties back into what I was saying about the race earlier and why I think, like, while dying in 5-1 multiple times is not really a strategy you should use in a race of this game, that's why I think I did so well for the rest of that race, is because it was like, well, I'm behind. Just gonna keep going, I guess. Whereas if someone's ahead, you're trying not to make mistakes because you're afraid of losing the lead instead of aggressively trying to go after getting a lead or doing better. So, same sort of deal. At least that's my unofficial sports psychology hypothesis for the day. Oh my goodness. Says you're known for your inconsistency. It's really hard to be consistent at things. Like, that's very difficult to do for sure. But I'm feeling like I'm getting there. Like, the fact that I've been able to more consistently get, in that 155 range on bad runs has been a nice feeling. So, glad about that. Your strat for races... Your strat for races is to just go for any strat I'd go for an actual attempt? Oh yeah, I mean, that's usually the best way to go. I think there's a couple spots where, like, I'll change up mine if we're doing a race where... Not quite my strategy for that one. Oops. I know Palongsi in our race did a slower strat on 1-4, specifically to avoid having to deal with bad Bowser RNG. And then on 2-4, I don't actually go for the fast P-switch strat during races because it's so risky and it loses so much time right at the start. So there's a couple places where I'll switch back to safer strats, but it's usually only in the first few levels. Because most of my later levels, I already do safe strats. Early levels, sometimes I'll go for riskier stuff because I have that safety net of, oh, I can just reset the run. Whereas as soon as you get later in the run, that safety net goes away. So that's the main thing that, like, if I'm changing up something for a race, it's probably from my early game. And really, it's probably, for me, if we're racing this weekend, it's just going to be 2-4. I might slow down a bit on 1-4, but like I'm definitely too aggressive with Bowser fights in races. I just don't want to slow down. It hurts to slow down. You're speedrunning. It's not slow running. Duh. To be fair, dying is slow. That's why you should be safe on things like that. Oh my goodness. I meant inconsistency for tennis. Yeah, that too. Tennis. I think it's even harder to be consistent at tennis because there's just so many elements of the game that are so random. So being able to be consistent in the face of all the variation you get in tennis, definitely a whole different feat. Like this game, being consistent is one thing, but also you're playing the same game, the same levels, little changes every time, so it's easier to get consistent because you can have a set plan. You can't have a set plan for tennis matches. I did not mean to fall there, but thankfully that didn't kill me. Right, different opponents are going to have different styles. If they have heavy spin, you won't be able to play your own top spin game, or if they hit super fast, you've got to be ready to play defensive or to try to meet them with their pace. Like for me, I don't generate a lot of pace on my own in tennis, so if my opponent hits fast, I can return fast, but I'm not going to throw a fastball your way unless you initiated it. So, yay. Alright, need to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yay! I made it. Okay, one more jump and then we're out of this level. We just need to do our split. Oh, hi, Seldom Seen Kid. Hi, I saw your run at Calithon. I thought it was cool. Good stuff. Oh, thanks! That's really sweet. Sorry, I need to pause this split. Oh, that means so much! That was my first marathon run. I'm so excited that people enjoyed it. Like, that meant a ton to me. Dang. Interesting strat. Also, hi, slowing down is cringe. Yeah. Definitely try not to go slowly. You hate to be slow when that's slowing down for real. I know, right? Oh my goodness. But unfortunately, sometimes you gotta go slow to go fast, you know? Those are... Actually, 11-1 is really frustrating in that sense, where if you do 11-1 as fast as possible right at the start, you actually miss the IL. You cannot do the IL as quickly as possible without taking the first part slightly slowly, which is just the most ridiculous thing ever. Why would you put that in the game? Like, I know the game wasn't designed to be speedrun, but like, seriously? It's the only place I can think of where like the game actually gets mad at you if you go too fast and like will cause you to die or to... Really keeping Yoshi is the slow thing in that one. And it's just like, but why? Also just the insult to injury that it's keeping Yoshi. And it's like, no. Yoshi doesn't need to be here. Please put Yoshi back. I would like to not have Yoshi, thank you very much. Oh. Oh boy. Cloud. Moving to the right. Oh hi, I apologize if I don't say this correctly, but Aninha, hello. 144 every run. Yeah, let me just get the hypothetical human best every single time I attempt to play this game. Unfortunately, we're already off pace for 144 because I didn't do the extremely wild P-switch throw whatever strat on 5-3. It's okay, maybe next time though. Maybe next time, we'll have to see. Alright, we're on to the next level though. I was a little bit nervous. Normally I look over at my notes between levels just for that like double check that I do remember what level's coming up. But I was trying to drink tea quickly between levels, so I was like, oh no, I don't have time to also look at the notes. I wasn't sure if I got that on the first ghost. If you hit just the middle 2 blocks there, you don't always hit the gusts correctly. But as long as you hit at least one block to the left of that, you're usually fine. See, that's the safe way to do the jump. Why didn't I do that? So many things to optimize. I love how easily that middle section works into just being fast. Like, that is so satisfying that you don't have to slow down for those dry bones. Like, yay! Oh, man. Dude, now I miss tennis even more, though, since we've been talking about it. It's like, I just want to do tennis. At the beginning of the pandemic, back when, like, no one knew how long things were going to be shut down for, like, how quickly we'd be going back to normal. So one of the tennis coaches for the place that I go to put out like a little mini YouTube series on like tennis things you can do at your house. So it was fun. It was like, okay, here's how to do weights but practice a volley motion. Here's like a good stretch for your legs. And like it was really cute because clearly the tennis coach was trying super hard to make something engaging and positive when they were stuck at home themselves. And like it was good to have some motivation to do an exercise. It was like, oh, I could do Coach Bill's workout. Let me do that today. And I used to like shadow volley or shadow serve in my house just to practice for going back to regular tennis, but sort of the longer things went on, the less that happened, the more I didn't do that, the more I tried to find other things instead. So I'm sure I'm horrifically out of practice when I start playing tennis again. Like I'm going to go back, and I think some of the other people that I used to play with have been playing, because it is actually allowed to play tennis right now. You're supposed to wear a mask, but with the distance in tennis across the net, or doubles, at least you're probably playing with someone you know. You can be playing tennis right now. I just haven't. Like, I'm sure I'm going to be super far behind when I do actually go back. But that's okay. I've been behind in tennis before. I played, like I said, a lot in high school, was on the varsity team then. But then when I went to college, I really kind of stopped playing. I played like a little bit in college every once in a while, but like not really. And so I kind of lost a lot of things that were good about my game. Like I used to have a really solid two-handed backhand, but at some point it changed into a decent slice one-handed backhand instead. Mostly because you can stretch further with a one-handed slice backhand, and I got lazier about moving my feet and running around the court. And so I got better at doing the thing that enabled my laziness, I guess is the way to put it. But I eventually was able to sort of recover that and get back to some of my normal tennis, although I still don't think I have my full power best backhand back yet. So I've at least done it before, I'll do it again, it'll be fine. Maybe this time I'll go back and I won't have a slice backhand anymore and I'll just suddenly have a topspin two-handed backhand. I'll just have to keep trading off which one I get. Oh man, this is the end of World 10? Yeah, end of World 10, so I get to split here. Yay! I always like get nervous when the timer doesn't show up yet. It's like, okay, am I accidentally splitting early? But I guess it's better to split early than late, because with early you can sort of undo it and then come back in and split the second time, but with late you're just like, I missed it, guess I can't do this anymore. Oh, your computer died! Oh, I'm sorry. I hope your computer, I guess it came back because you're here. I guess you could be on your phone. I hope your computer's okay and undead. Or at least it gets undead very soon. But see, this is the level I was talking about, where if you go as quickly as possible at the beginning, one, you just miss Yoshi and run to the spikes. But two, you actually accidentally keep Yoshi and don't damage boost in this first section, and it slows you down so much because Yoshi is not fast when he does that. So you actually have to make tiny movement errors in the first part of the level in order to play it anywhere. Oh, Juice, by the way, hat is on top of Mario, that's when you start running. You have to make tiny movement errors in order to play that optimally. Sorry, I missed saying it early. I know you were looking at this one earlier, but the hat moves at the same running pace as Mario about. So what you do, I missed both jumps there. So what you do is when the hat is over Mario's head, and I usually line it up with the coin as well, because why not? That's when you start running. So actually what I do is I line Mario up underneath the coin, and then when the hat reaches the coin, that's when I start running. So mess around with that, and that should give you the right timing for specifically that P-switch timer. Your computer is undead? Yay, welcome back, computer. Hopefully it's not a zombie. I've been thinking about zombies more lately because Resident Evil has a new game coming out. Speaking of just how many amazing games are coming out this year, Resident Evil 8 Village is going to be awesome. I won't be able to play it because I can't play scary games. They're too scary for me. My heart would stop. But I'm really excited to watch people play that game. And there's a number of people that I know are going to play it like on release day. So I've been thinking about vampires a bit, or zombies a bit because of that. But actually, this particular Resident Evil, oh no, I have to do the reset door. That was a very bad mistake. Am I just dead? Oh, seriously, that is such a silly death. On this level of all things? Ouch, that hurts. I should have died sooner. That's painful. Rip, no death run. Actually, the Resident Evil 8 game that's coming out, though, is apparently more about, like, vampires and werewolves than it is about zombies. That'll be an interesting direction for the series to go. Like, I think a couple of fans are mad about that because they're like, ah, not zombies. But it's like, this game has been doing things for a while that are just sort of out there. Like, it's fine. Deal with it. It'll be okay. Oh my goodness. It's gonna be so fun, though. The internet's obsessed with one of the evil characters. Apparently it's Lady Dimitrescu, even though it looks like Dimitrescu or something, because she's really tall. And that's been kind of interesting to watch as well. Like, someone that I follow recently did a cosplay of her that was phenomenal, so interesting to watch that too. Oh no. I know. That one hurts a lot, because that's such a ridiculous death. That's not a level that you practice, because that's not the type of mistake that you normally would make ever, but oh well. I almost died of the chain chomp just as revenge, I guess. Part of me wants to not take the mushroom, because I'm like, I must make up the time that I lost, but like, then I would die of the dry bones at the end of this level and lose all the time back. That was unfortunately not a super short death though. Maybe 20 seconds? We'll have to see where I'm at the end of World 11 at this point. I should still, I think, be ahead. And thankfully most of my time save is like 13, 14, and 15. So even if I am only on even after this, I'm still on decent pace, which is nice. Bye Chain Chomp, bye Chain Chomp. Good to see you. Oh man, there's so many coins on this level. You can 100% this level while you're any percenting it, but it's just kind of obnoxious, and it makes you do unsafe things, so not worth going for. Like, you can for swag points, but like, not really worth it. Still definitely ahead of your PB. I don't know, your PB was pretty close to me through a lot of the game, I think, right? I don't remember exactly at what point you got ahead or behind. Like, only a 1 death is pretty good, but with the load times, I don't know where that puts you at. And with execution as well, I think you've got cleaner movement on some of the levels than I do as well. Look at all these dry bones. There were dry bones plushies at Target when I went there the other day. I legitimately thought about getting one, because I feel like I've gotten to be better friends with the dry bones after, like, learning how they mechanically work. But I decided against it, because I have too many plushie bunnies right now, and it's like, I don't need more plushie things. I actually have a plushie red Paracoopa somewhere, I think, and a giant, like, Mario mushroom that's, like, super cozy to cuddle with, but I think I do know where those are. Maybe I'll pull them out. But, like, my stream background doesn't show anything. Like, I don't have shelves or anything back there, so I wouldn't be able to see it. Actually, maybe later. So, I have 2 pet rabbits. I think I've brought this up on stream before. I've got 2 pet rabbits, and rabbits live in something called a hutch. A hutch is just a fancy word for a cage, but it's, like, specifically a cage for rabbits. And that is, like, the correct thing to have rabbits in. Now, you can also let them free roam around your house. So, like, right now, my rabbits have their pick of, like, living room, kitchen areas. They can go sort of wherever they want to because I've rabbit-proofed my house to the best of my ability. But at nighttime when I'm asleep and I couldn't be there if, like, I missed something with rabbit-proofing and something went wrong, they go back in their hutch, which is sort of just, like, the safest spot for them to be. The hutch is actually a different spot than normal. I promise this is related to the whole background thing. The hutch is in a different spot than normal because I didn't want to go on stream for a marathon and have anyone even thinking to ask, hey, why do you have a cage behind you? Like, there's just gonna be no good way to handle that. Like, it's for bunnies. Like, it is for bunnies, that's what the cage is for, but, like, I don't want people to even ask that question. Problem is, it's not where it's supposed to be right now. Like, it's off to the side a bit more. And so I do want to move it back at some point. I think when I do that, it's gonna end up being just barely visible in frame here. Did I forget to split again? Dang it, World 11. I didn't see where I was at. I'm probably close to even, so I might be like a second or 2 behind. I don't know if you caught it. But it'll start to be in frame again, and so then maybe, the whole point of this is then maybe once the hutch is back in frame, I'll have like a tiny shelf behind me and I can put like a Mario thing on top of it, but anyway, got into myself into a long-winded story and forgot to split, so nothing new about this run. Yay! 1, 2. Triple jump. I've got specific jumping spots for this level too. This one gave me so much trouble when I was learning it. Still sometimes does, but this is a really weird type of jump where I actually don't look at Mario when I'm doing the final jump. I look at the left side bullet bill launcher and use that to set up my jump. I don't know why that works, but it works for me and I'm gonna keep doing it. Gotta find what works and stick with it. You're behind my PB at this point. You caught up due to the World 13 and 14 deaths. Okay, that makes sense. Your actual evil plan is to PB every day so that you have to spend more time verifying, and then you have no time for runs. Wow, the actual evil plan comes out. Oh my goodness. This is... I don't know how I'm going to counter that. This is going to be rough. Because the problem is it's both of your competitors, right? It's both myself and Polanxi that could be affected by this. Like, I don't even know. It's going to be a difficult one to combat. Oh my goodness. Although, FYI, heads up, I won't be able to verify it tonight because I did decide to stream instead. So I apologize. I chose streaming over verifying. So Polanxi, maybe... I guess Polanxi's supposed to be streaming right now too, right? I will look at it tomorrow, though, at the latest. Like, if Polanxi hasn't gotten to it before, after my working hours tomorrow, that's when I will review the PB and officially verify it, so... Yes. I did try to get yours last night, so I'm sorry it's taking a little bit to get those up. Like, no suspicions. I have no problem calling you the second place runner right now, but just note that by the time I finish this speed run, it's going to be, what, like 11 or something? And I do have to be up for work tomorrow before, 9 a.m.? So if I stay up until 1 a.m. reviewing the run and, like, double-checking everything, again, not like I'm expecting to find anything wrong, but just to make sure I'm doing my correct job as moderator. It's going to be a little bit too late for me tonight, but I think the official SLA, like the official time you have on speedrun.com is like a week. Like when you enter it, it's like a moderator will view this. It may take up to a week, so I'm at least still beating that, but yeah, work on it. Oops, I didn't. Sorry, I missed the context for that one. I apologize. Also, you looked at the VOD and you're 1 second ahead right now. Yay! Hopefully I can keep staying ahead. That's the trick, is like, as you get better at the games, it's less like, oh, I'm gonna get this time save, and more like, well, I hope I can not die until my one time save, you know, just an hour and a half into the run. Yay! Like, there's just so many less spots to save time, so it's like so much harder to keep saving time and keep getting on good pace, but, you know, it's worth it. Don't worry about it. Hello. Oh, hey! It's good to see you again, Samuel. Welcome back. I am way far away from Bowser. This is not an optimal Bowser fight. One more? 2 more. Not great. I think that was 6 or 7. You're supposed to get it in like 5, so. Oh well. Stair jump? I got the stair jump but missed the. I got the landing point on the stair jump but missed the jump afterward. Tried to make it up though. It's okay. Oh boy. Don't worry about it. Okay, good. I will get it tomorrow though. I promise. Oh man. By the end of stream, he'll be back to 3rd place. Is Peloxy on good pace? I hope he is. Like, good luck to him. Oh wait, I don't have enough time for tea because I was talking during that. You don't have to watch the entire thing when moderating a long run? I mean, probably not, right? Like, I was there for the second half of it, so I could go, oh, I was there for that. I saw it live. I don't need to remoderate it. I could watch it at 2x speed, right? That would speed it up into just 1 hour. But it's one of those things where I really want to feel like I'm doing a good job. I end up taking rules pretty seriously. And so it's one of those things where I'll feel better about my job as moderation and being able to confidently tell anyone, yes, I am very confident that, you know, my moderation decision was correct. This is a legitimate run. Oh, I hit high. That might slow me down in the second part. Yep. Too high of a fireball there. You're supposed to land up with the coin trail if you want, come on, if you want a good fireball. So it's more like maybe there are some ways I could speed that process up, you know, and again, especially on a run where I have absolutely no reason to believe there's anything weird about it. I'm not like trying to nitpick and find the details. It's like, this should be fine unless something weird happens to prove otherwise. Like the biggest issue would be, oh, I happened to figure out that the video cut out and unfortunately that disqualifies it. Like I still believe the time, but it's not valid. But again, just personal preference. I feel better about doing my job as a moderator if I do very full due diligence, even if it takes me longer. So, bit of a trade-off there. And unfortunately, like, moderator for a 2-hour game, so it's gonna take a little while. ILs are a lot faster. I'm also, like, a little bit more intently watching on ILs, just because they're easier to fake, I think. Well, actually, I don't know which one would be easier to fake, but, you know, I can pay attention for the duration of an IL extremely closely. For a full run, I'm definitely leaning back in my seat a little bit more, drinking my tea along the way, all those sorts of good things. I was super close to the spikes there. That was not at all a comfy cart section. There were like 3 separate times I almost died in that corridor. I don't know why my nerves kicked in, but like that was super sketch. Okay, well we actually have a split now, so we're even on pace at World 12. I always miss World 11, it's so sad. Run verification percent, lol. Speedrunning category. The other moderator would win speedrunning. Like, there's technically 2 moderators for this game. But realistically, he does 90% of the work. And it's not because I'm sitting there going, oh, you take this one, you take this one. It's because I swear he's got some alert set up for it. He moderates things like instantly and I'm sitting there and it's like, oh shoot, I haven't checked in a while. And I'll go see like that everything's been modded for the last 7 days and I'll feel kind of bad. It's like, sorry, I hope I'm pulling my weight at some point. So that's why I specifically like told Pelongsi, hey, I'll moderate Juice's run tonight just to make sure I'm doing something. Of holding my end of being a moderator, so yay. It's fun though. It's like a nice way to feel like I'm helping the community out. Because like I said, this community's been so amazingly awesome and supportive and everything. This is my first speed game, and so definitely was stressed getting into it with like, oh no, what is it like? Oh shoot, I'm getting the safety mushroom. And everything. So having a community that's been so supportive throughout my entire like speedrunning journey, yeah, sure, I will help verify runs. I want to do something to help back, so if that's it, that's what I'll get up to. IDK, if you could ever do a run this long? It's definitely intimidating at first, but I think the biggest thing for me was getting past the idea of wanting to be perfect and like obsessing over every tiny mistake I did and thinking about it more as a marathon. Like, I'm gonna make mistakes, let's just keep going and see if I can do better than I did last time, right? Like, I'm technically over my PB, but you know what, I've got some time saved. We'll just keep rolling, see what we can do with it. Oh man, this level. Why is this level so slow? You'll hypnotize me into doing it. You never rewatch once if you were live there for the run. Fair enough. I usually check just to make sure nothing went wrong when you were like uploading the video. That's the only thing that I would expect to potentially go wrong. Like if somehow the video upload fails and like does a weird thing, that's like it. But yeah, definitely I feel more confident if I'm moderating something I saw live, because it's like, okay, I'm probably not missing anything that I was supposed to have caught while moderating. Like I'm pretty sure I've got this. Okay, let's see if I can actually do the second half strat for this level. During my marathon run, like I had practiced the second half new strat that Polonxi put up like the day of. Oh, I already messed up. But I completely messed it up at the end, and I felt bad because this was a donation reading time, and I definitely grimaced when I screwed up the trick. Oh yeah, I already forgot that I was doing it. That's okay. And I'm really hoping no one thought I was grimacing at the donations, because it was like, no, this is because I screwed up this trick again, and now I just have an arbitrary amount of time before the level ends. Lols. Oh man. Let's see. Sorry, I was trying to read chat, but I actually did get good timing on that, so I had to pay attention. He's on 8-3? Ooh, not too bad. That's not quite halfway, but that's not the beginning of it anymore. A full game run you think is easier to fake because with an IL you gotta be really good at editing a fake time in, true, whereas you can just splice a run. You could technically maybe splice ILs in a specific way. Pretty difficult though. People have tried to do fake ILs, but thankfully they've always done them really badly. So Polonxi hasn't had a problem catching them. I don't think anyone's tried to submit one that I've had to reject as fake. I don't remember if I've had to reject one for not being fully proven. Like with 100%, you have to include footage of like either the entire run or something that shows that you did in fact complete 100% of the memo requirements. I don't remember if I've had to reject one for that. I think the only one I've actually had to reject was a duplicate. I don't think anyone's tried to fly stuff by us recently. But I remember like earlier this year or later last year, there were a couple times people tried to fake runs for 1-1 specifically. Because it does look super tempting to get that first place time and beat literally everyone who's tried it, but unfortunately they sucked at faking them, or I guess fortunately for us they were really bad fakes, so it wasn't like it was hard to catch. You got Modificate when you were 12, it was a bad choice, oof. Yeah, that'd be a bit much, I think. Like, I was nervous about getting modded, and I am definitely not 12, and I had legitimately been doing a lot of stuff with this game. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's definitely an honor to be asked to be a moderator, because it shows that there's a lot of trust in you. It shows, like, respect for your knowledge of the game, right? Like, in theory, I know enough about the game to be able to catch a faked run and to understand what I'm looking for, what the requirements are. At the same time, it also is flat-out work and responsibility, right? Like, I do have to spend time verifying runs. I do have to do my best to verify the runs and to make sure I'm only passing runs that are legitimate, which, again, for our community is like all of them, which is really convenient. But there's definitely like a responsibility and like effort, time requirement put into it too, so a little bit double-edged sword, but it's been cool. I think it's been interesting as well, just learning how speedrunning moderation works, right? Having conversations with Polonxi is like, okay, wait, did we interpret this rule correctly? Do we need a new rule? Oh wait, hey, the other speedrunning community added this in. Is that something that should apply to us? Does it apply to us? Always that last one too, right? It's been interesting just to see what sort of deliberations happen behind the scenes in like the mini modding community, which is just like, again, the two of us, but still, there's two of us. There's not just one anymore. When I started running the game, it was just Polonxi, so we've at least got a backup moderator. That's me. Lols. Now you're smarter. You did SMM2 100%, 7 hours. Are you saying that just to troll me so I have to moderate a 7-hour thing only to feel like realize you didn't finish it at the end? Because believe me, I will jump around that one first just to get the obvious stuff out of the way. Like, oh my goodness. Yay. Oh, this is one of the propellers. Oh wait, did you say SMM2 100%? In which case, I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I read it wrong and you were like being sincere about Super Mario Maker 2 any 100%, or if you were memeing about Super Mario Maker 100%, because we meme about Super Mario Maker 100% like all the time. Look at this level. It has a propeller. Isn't that... It has flowers. You know what? This level has flowers in the background, which is kind of cute. That's at least a positive. Gotta look for the positives and things. SM 200%. Okay. I'm sorry, Samuel. I thought you were memeing. You were not. But yes, that's a lot. That is a lot of run. Oh my goodness. Flashbacks to when you tried running SMG Super Mario Galaxy 2 and was resetting to a 5-second mistake when the category is 3 hours. Ouch! That sounds painful. Like, I'm glad we're not at that point in this game yet, And, like, I'm hoping that by the time we get to that point in this game, like, I'm mentally prepared for that, but, like, oh boy, I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for, like, one bonk to be like, well, that's it. Time to reset 2 hours of progress. See you next time. Like, no. This one is mostly, like, if you get multiple deaths, that's when the resetting starts to happen, and that feels okay. Like, it's still a little bit painful. That was a really slow wall jump. But at the same time, like, I've gotten better at about the same pace, so it's like, you know what, I can handle that now. That used to be something that would have been frustrating, but, like, I'm good enough that that doesn't happen as much as it used to, so everything's okay. Alright, I'm gonna do my slow thing, because I died to Bowser last time. Sad face. And there we go, Deathless the World 13, so hopefully that gives us an improvement, or what am I looking for? Hopefully that puts us ahead after this split. I'm looking at the timer. Dude, my World 13 death must have been slow. It was 13-3. 13-3 isn't like all that slow of a death. I don't know what's up. From Samuel, I can't understand what Polonxy is saying, but all I know is he's swearing a lot. Yeah. Oh, he's on one when he's doing ILs now? That makes sense. Yeah, Polonxy tends to swear when he gets frustrated. And like, this is a game where, especially as we're getting better and the requirements for getting a good time become stricter, like the number of deaths, the number of mistakes you can do go down, it can be more frustrating. Like, I tend to be able to stay pretty chill on speedruns, which is nice, but man, it can hurt pretty badly when you make just one tiny mistake or you start to spiral out of control. I'm also pretty lenient with resets, where I won't reset very often, even with some early mistakes. And I think Polonxy tends to be more strict about resetting as soon as early mistakes happen. So I think that also feels like it'd be a frustrating way to go, but that's what works for him. So I'm glad that speedrunning lets people have different styles on things like that. And also, I know I'm behind chat. I'm sorry. I'm catching up between levels when I can. I've seen that there are more messages coming in. I acknowledge that those messages exist. But I'm also trying not to die, so I hope you understand that I will read the messages when it's safe for Mario to do so. I guess Mario's not reading the messages. When it's safe for me to do those, to read the messages without endangering Mario, that's when I will read the messages. That's when I will do my best to catch back up. Oh, I can't talk today. Just got 9 seconds on 1-1. Juice. Oh my goodness. ILs don't count load times, bro. You get a run going as soon as we agree to lab some stuff after the run. Clearly you hate lab work. That's it. I'm stalling on the homework part. I don't want to think about things, so... Nope. Just... Nope. Not gonna happen. Plus, if I get a new PB on this, you have to wait through the credits before I'll actually go to the lab. So, I think you're hoping for me to die out on this level, which, you know, if you're hoping for me to die out on a level, this isn't a bad one to hope for. Oh my goodness. Last jump there. Do I go for the dumb thing? No, I hit the wall. Ah, you can only go for this strat if you, like, have a really clean stair climbing section. So, part of me is sad that I missed the stair climb because I can't go for the fast strat, and part of me is relieved because, like, I don't have to go for the fast strat. Twofold thing. Oh well, I was not at that point at all. I just had a terrible mentality and refused to accept non-perfect beginnings. So, I mean, it definitely makes it harder to continue a run when you see that time loss at the beginning and you know you're starting off from behind. It's like, well, why don't I just do this until I get something good happening? Like, I get that mentality for sure. I think I just get more frustrated with not being able to make progress than I do with, like, starting off on the wrong foot. I'm much more in the mindset of, oh, I can catch that time up later. Oh, I've got time save. It'll be fine. I think at one point I was, like, keeping runs that were a minute behind because I actually did have that much time save late. And just being like, yeah, this is fine. I'll just catch it up later. We're all good to go. So very different philosophy. Okay. Can I trigger this final one? I think I got it early enough. Yep, we're good. It'll open up that pathway. You have to trigger that final crusher early so that that pathway clears and you can get through that final section. Safety mushroom time. I mean, technically this one's a safety checkpoint, but it's like, really a safety mushroom. Rarely do you need the checkpoint if you get it, because the safety mushroom takes care of the whole, like, dying thing. For the most part. You can obviously still make mistakes and get hit, but whatever. It works. Oh man. You're gonna leave for a bit, but you'll be lurking. Good luck. Oh, thanks. Hopefully you have a good time lurking. It's sometimes just nice to have the stream on and not be chatting. Like, there are some days when I watch streams and it's like, I'm excited, I want to talk about what's happening, I want to say things. And other days where it's like, I'm so tired of saying things all day, I don't want to have to use my brain to put words on the keyboard. Obviously, that's sometimes the day I'm in if I can't even say, like, words on a keyboard is not a thing. That's one of the nice things about Twitch, is like you can't just lurk. You can just be there, and being there is still helpful. Being there is still nice. Definitely gonna get my safety mushroom here though. Not worth not getting this, because this is like a free safety mushroom. I was talking about that earlier in, I think, Juice's stream, but most of the time when you get safety mushroom, it's a half-second penalty, but that one in particular is free because at the midpoint of this level you go through required checkpoints, so as long as you don't mess up before then, you're good to go. These Goombas are like surprisingly deadly. No worries for not reading chat while gaming. This game does kind of make it hard for that. Okay, good. Yeah, there's certain levels where it's like this one, I'll have pauses where I can read things because like, yeah, this is that long level, but other ones it gets a little bit trickier to do. I just always feel bad when I get like a level or two behind and it's like, oh no, I hope I remember the context, because I always feel bad if someone comments something and it was just for the fact that I'm not entirely sure what the context of the comment is, and it's like, haha, yeah, that was a good trick. I hope I'm thinking of the right one. Oh well, running this game is so fun though. Like, I really do like it, even if it does make me nervous. Normally I'd be pretty chill right now, but like, I'm actually on good pace. I'm not gonna lie. My heart was getting nervous in some of those levels. Like 14-2 is a level that makes me incredibly nervous because it's one of the levels that I'm the most likely to die in out of this entire run. So I was definitely panicking a bit going through that one. This room I can drink tea in though. Yay. I figured that strat out of drinking tea in this room while I was working on my marathon commentary. Like, I've always known you can, or not always, but pretty much since I started running, I knew you could hold right in that room. But I hadn't thought about it as a tea drinking opportunity until I was prepping for the marathon. And normally between levels is when I sort of take a deep breath, take a break, go grab tea, whatever. But with the marathon commentary, there was just so much to say that I didn't have time between worlds to drink tea. I had to be continually talking about the next world, the previous world, the next level, the previous level. So there was like no time for tea to like keep my throat from falling apart. But I figured out that this level I knew I was going to ask for donations, and you could drink tea during this level because it is a hold right for that middle section. So bonus tea strat unlocked. All the extra content in this game. Oh my goodness. I really, like, I feel like I need to not jump over those. Like, I feel like the way I handled that last year was needlessly dangerous, but it's fine. It works. Almost at the end of the longest level, though. Yay! We're done. Whew. I need to remember to split, though, because I keep forgetting to split today. Oh, yeah, time save is happening. So for reference, I died on 14-2 in my PB, which is why I had just a ginormous chunk of time save lying around in World 14 for me to pick up. So was expecting to get ahead. And actually, for also context, my goal is to be pretty far ahead going into World 18 because my PB did a really clean World 18 and it's hard to match it right now. You have a friend who runs Final Fantasy VIII. The pro of that is that there's a lot of downtime to read chat. The downside is the top level run is 8.5 hours long, so you have to set aside the whole day for it. Dang, yeah, I have no idea how people run like 8-hour games. Because like already planning streams with this game can get a bit iffy because it's like, well, if I have 3 hours, I might only stream for 1 because at the 1 hour mark, I don't have time for a full run, so I kind of just have to stop. So it ends up with these very variable stream times. If it's like, well, if I have 4 hours, that could be anywhere from a 2 to a 4 hour stream, and like, I don't know until I hit the 2 hour mark which one it's gonna be. Or even after that, because I could lose a run late. Alright, scary jump time. I need to stop calling it. Yeah, I missed it. I need to stop calling it the scary jump right before I do that, because that's not setting up my mental game for success there. Lols. But yeah, with 8.5 hours, I don't know how you do it, right? Like, that's... You can only realistically restart a few times for a few hours before it's like, well, this next one is it, or I don't have time anymore. Like, do you do extra practice of the later sections? Do you go back and try again? Do you get half of a run together? I don't know how you'd handle that. I got to do hosting for a Final Fantasy run during Calathon that was thankfully only 4.5 hours long. But it was kind of funny because even though I only had one game that I was hosting for in the entire marathon, I still had one of the longest total time hosting shifts because it was a 4.5 hour game. It was also at 6 a.m. and I was not anticipating like how difficult it would be to stay up. Like the run was good, it was fun to watch, but you know, being short on sleep and then trying to stay alert for that full run. It's not like I'm just watching it, I'm constantly checking on the donations that are coming in to make sure I know if we have ones to read. If basically if it's my turn to talk, I want to make sure I know what donations are coming in. I want to know what I'm going to say ahead of time, so it's not like, oh, Charbonnet, do we have stuff to talk about? And I'm like, yeah, let me look at this real quick. It's like, no, I want to know immediately what I'm launching into. Am I talking about donations? Am I talking about incentives? Am I talking about like the little blurbs about the charity or the cause or the partners we're working with? So it was like constantly being ready to be called on in class, kind of. But for 4.5 hours at 6 a.m. Definitely an interesting experience, but 10 out of 10 would do it again. Like, I did enjoy that. It was interesting trying to make sure, like, understanding what host prep looks like. Right? As a runner, I'm thinking about, oh, here's my commentary, here's what I want to say because I know what's coming up about the different levels. As a host, it's a little bit more, okay, in the moment planning of what have I said recently, what haven't I talked about. Man, I am just, like, not getting this fast strat right now. But this should be fairly quick because that should be the last hit. Oh well, back at fast strat, that's fine. Actually still saves time over what I used to do. But that more in-the-moment hosting planning of like, okay, what did I just talk about? What have I not talked about recently? What's going to be my next plan if they call on me? That was honestly really fun as well. So I'll see if I can do more hosting in the future. I think that was pretty enjoyable. And requires way less prep than getting my run together did. I practiced so much for that run. For hosting, I did watch the entire 4.5 hour run like the day before or 2 days before, just to make sure I would like know when it was going to be my turn and have an idea of how the game works so I wasn't just completely lost. But still less prep time for sure than putting the actual run together with my commentary. Worth it though. Also loved running the game. That was super awesome. So would do that again too. But since I only run one game, it's like, well, I could submit it again, but people have seen it now, so I'd have to look for something else. Oh boy. He said the only reason he does it is because it's his favorite game ever. I mean, you'd have to really like a game to do 8-hour runs of it for sure. Yeah, he did Midwest Speed Fest 2020, and because it's so long, they just threw him on for the overnight block. That happens a lot, right? I think GDQ does that too, where if they have a really long Final Fantasy game, it's either overnight, and they actually will do multiple hosts for it, or it will be like the very end of the marathon. I feel like marathons usually try to have a long run at the very end so they can sort of meet all of their remaining incentives. They usually don't close it out with like a flurry of short games. It's like, here is the long game. I think like a Final Fantasy has... I was panicked. It's like, oh no, the fireball's on the wrong side, but I don't go for that strat and run, so it's fine. I just do the safe, slow thing. Like it's either... or they did have a Final Fantasy closeout of GDQ one time, because I remember like really struggling to stay awake. It was one of the older ones where you did more like enemy or encounter table stuff. But yeah. I think this last one, they did Pokemon Sword and Shield, which was a 4.5 hour RPG run as well. So definitely seems to be a pattern for them. But was also a really fun one. That was really creative. The runner of that one did an excellent job, where mid-run they started just throwing out bonus incentives to aim for. Like, oh, I'll go see the Whale Lord if we hit this donation incentive. And then they hit the donation incentive, they went out to the Whale Lord, they managed to catch it, and then mid-run they rerouted so they could use it for the final battle. Oh, I almost did the chain chomp strat. I'm like so into the marathon practice that I'm like, oh yeah, chain chomps, let's go. But no, in my actual runs, that's way too risky, especially on this good of pace. I don't want to lose this run to missing the chain chomp strat for sure. Only saves like 5 seconds, I think, so questionable to go for it in a real run, at least with where the run is right now. Oh boy. Seriously, I'm so excited for when I get to put chain chomps back into my run. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be a mess. I'm gonna die a lot in that level, but dang, it's gonna be cool. You've also seen them make their really long games into a relay where one person does the start and someone else takes over at like 2 a.m. That's true. Oh wait, split. Oh, hey, gold split for Rule 15. Yo, that's because I did the Bowser Jr. fight fast. Only by 1.7 seconds, but that was the Bowser Jr. fight and then not messing up 15-3, so... Yay, time save. Said gold, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're right, they've done that before. I've seen that for Final Fantasy as well. I feel like Final Fantasy is just like the classic long marathon speedrun. Like Pokemon ones can be long as well, especially later categories, but I feel like Final Fantasy just sticks in my head as like, oh, it's the long RPG game that people put in marathons at like overnight or at the end of it. And they're always cool because the different ones have different mechanics. There's different types of time saves. Same thing with Pokemon. Early ones, super heavy on like arbitrary code execution, glitches, memory manipulation, and later ones it's like, well, here's how we're trying to not have bad luck and give ourselves the best chance of success. I missed that jump, so we're gonna go slowly there. But I am set up for this fast. Oh, I messed up the fast part. That's okay. This level is so inconsistent with the donut blocks, but that's okay. It means you can usually execute it well and save some time. So like, saving time is good. It's kind of nice to have the levels where you feel like you can play them well as opposed to just not playing them badly. Like so many levels in this game are just don't mess it up. So having one where it's like, oh, you did that well, like kind of feels good. Nice to have the balance in there. Oh man, need to drink tea soon again. Oh hi Minfin, I hope I'm saying your name right. Marathon strats are a thing. Also had fun watching the run at Calithon. Oh, thanks. Don't know how you can self-commentate that well and play. I mess up when I try. I did lots of practice. I guarantee you there was a lot of practice behind that run. But I'm glad you enjoyed it. I've been really happy hearing people, you know, say that they like the run. Makes me feel like all the work I put into it paid off. Like, it's my first marathon run. I was super anxious about how it would go, so... Now, it's been, like, all this week I've been able to, like, think back on this weekend and just be happy, right? Like, thinking about running. Thinking about all the other runs, too, that were just super fun to watch. But, like, that was such a special moment for me. I'm so excited I got that opportunity. I'm so thankful that they let me into the marathon. Like, I don't know that I was, like, the first choice for them. I think I may have been on the border and I just was free on Thursday, but hey, they took me. I did my best. I'm so glad I got that chance. Doesn't matter. I said I was available on Thursday, so it all works out. Oh my goodness. Oh, this level is so chill after all of that. See, now the problem is, like, I'm getting excited just thinking back on the marathon, and I need to relax because I need to just play this game well. And playing this game well is a lot easier on a normal heart rate than on a marathon heart rate. I think I looked it up after the marathon because I have a Fitbit that I wear, mostly to make sure I know how much I sleep and for it to tell me that I don't get enough sleep. But I did look up after the marathon and my heart rate was over 100 the entire time. Like, it just didn't go down. And normally, like, when I'm sitting down, my heart rate's like 70, maybe 80 at tops. So, yeah, I'd say I was nervous. I think I was a bit nervous for that one. It actually spiked up during prep, too. Oh, come on. It wasn't even just during the run. It, like, right... Missing the ground pound. I'm hitting it late, I think. Why is this so... This is sad. There we go. The ground pound unfortunately doesn't give you a cue on whether or not you were early or late, so if you miss it, you just have to start guessing which way you're making the mistake. Sad face. But my heart rate actually started going up during prep because I was so nervous to go on stage. But the Calithon staff was super friendly. Like, I think Ness _ was helping me set up. And I actually ended up sending them a thank you message, just like, thank you for, like, being excited about my run before it started, because he was super positive about the whole thing, like, super helpful getting everything ready, and it made me feel, like, better going into my run, having someone be excited for it. And then the host, I think it was Biglaw, did, like, as soon as I asked for donations, the very first thing, like, you're killing it with the commentary, and I was like, ah. Having someone encourage you during the run, especially when I couldn't read chat because I was too busy commentating, that made such a difference. Just feeling like I was doing a good job and people were enjoying it, even though I couldn't tell for sure because, again, was trying to commentate, and unfortunately, apparently I cannot commentate with my notes and read chat at the same time. That was really helpful for sure. And then afterwards, I did go back and read all the chat messages, and man, it felt so good. It was so happy to see all the nice things people were saying. It was amazing. I'm like, my smile keeps getting bigger as I'm thinking about it. Like, I swear, if you watch the replay, my smile just keeps growing every time I say something about Calithon because of how much fun it was. Oh man, okay, I have to focus though. Bowser fight time. Need to not lose my Shelmet on this one, or at the very least need to take out this Podoboo first. See, I don't want to jinx it, but Bowser's been like super nice to me in runs lately. He has, oh, well then I missed the final jump in last time anyway. Bowser's been like super friendly to me in runs. I don't know what it is, but I'm not gonna complain. Thanks, Bowser, you're doing your thing. Yeah, 10 seconds is mostly all from that level though, with the ground pounds at the start. I'm kind of surprised I didn't lose more given how bad this ground pounds went, but like, you know, that's okay. Oh man. I don't think there's any game I know so well where I wouldn't need a commentator. This game just, there's a lot that's easy to say about it too, which is nice, because it borrows from other games, there's a sequel, there's like a lot of tangential things you can talk about during it to try to keep it interesting, which was fun to try to figure out. You are, most people get confused with the double eyes. Oh yeah, I got it. First marathon runs are always a great feeling. Felt so good. Yeah, definitely that's going to be like one of those days I look back on when I'm like 70 or something and it's like, that was a good day. That was a good day. Oh man. Definitely made it hard to focus at work this week though, because like, I like what I do for my job, but work this week so far has not been nearly as much fun as this weekend was. So it's a little bit hard to like stay motivated to like fill out spreadsheets and stuff when it's like, but I know I can be more excited and happier than that, and that's not where today's at. But the good news is the whole spreadsheets thing and the thing I do for work does get me paid so that I can afford to take days off to go do Calathon stuff. So, you know, it works out overall in the end. Agreed, I can't even imagine what my heart rate was like when I was commentary on a GDQ run in January. Oh man, I didn't realize you were on a commentary. Which run did you commentate? That's epic. Shalom Kit, shouts to Nest, they're great. They are great. Paloxy, how are you a minute ahead? Paloxy, I know this is going to come as a surprise to you, but it turns out not dying is a really good strat. Sorry, for anyone who doesn't watch my stream regularly, Paloxy's biggest set of advice on this game is always just don't die. And if you look at my death counter, I'm currently at 1. And that's why I'm a minute ahead, because my PB has 4 deaths, and I've passed 3 of them right now. So I'm sort of tied 1 death. I died in 3-1, and then I died in like an earlier level. But I saved time because I didn't die in World 13 or World 14. And then I'm keeping pace because I haven't died in the other worlds as well. So that's kind of the way that this run is going. I'm hoping I just don't die at all for the rest of it, but you know, we'll have to see how that goes. This game is not known for liking that. Okay, quiet time. Like, I seriously wasn't kidding when I commentated and said I can't talk during this part. Like, oh my goodness. I shouldn't be that nervous for that bomb throw, but I am. I even get a safety mushroom. Like, do you see this mushroom? You don't need this mushroom, but I'm so nervous about the bomb throw that I get the mushroom anyway. Oh my goodness. You know your game super well. I just can't game and commentate at the same time because one ends up lacking. That's fair. This is something I specifically wanted to be able to do for speedrunning, and that's one of the reasons I started streaming, is to practice talking and playing at the same time. Because, yeah, it definitely is not an easy skill to get used to, but practicing has for sure helped. Oh, man. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna do slow things with this bomb, because now I'm nervous about dying, because I was talking about it. One of the things that's frustrating is if I talk about not dying, it makes me super nervous about dying, and then I end up dying again. So I need to stop talking about it. Let's talk about flowers. See how the stage has background flowers? Isn't that cute? I like it when the stage has background flowers. Those are nice and cheerful. The second part of the stage really doesn't have background flowers, and I think that's a missed opportunity. And the reason is because the second part of the stage is just spikes and death. But if they added background flowers, again, I think that would have been a benefit. I think that would have really amped this level up. Okay, that was the scariest part. Sorry, seriously, I'm making myself nervous by talking about the levels. Need to not yet. Let's reach out instead. That sounds like fun. The Messenger. Oh, that's such a cool one. Oh my goodness. Poster saw it was at 130k people watching. No kidding. Dude, GDQ streams are wild. I think I actually took the week off in January to watch GDQ this year because it's like, well, I didn't travel anywhere. It's not like I have anything else to do, so yeah. Word. Loxy, I appreciate how excited you are for this because this is a really good run. I'm hoping I can keep it going. But again, I'm trying not to talk about it because then I'm going to get nervous and make dumb mistakes. So, trade-offs. You'd love to do a marathon sometime, but most of the games you speedrun are either not good speed games or not popular. That's the rough thing, right? Like with getting into marathons, like I think so much of it does depend on the game. Like some of it may be the runner as well, but so much of it is just, well, to like for GDQ, I'm guessing they go, well, people think to click on your game. Well, they donate those classic, oh, I played this game and it was my favorite game as a kid donations, because their goal is ultimately to raise money for charity, which fair goal. And certain games, I guess, are more marketable than others. Like, I'm not going to debate that. So, it can be difficult depending on what game you're in. I've heard someone from the Mario Maker 2 community, I think, has tried to get, like, the sequel to this game in like, the non-random categories for a while. But I think they've run into trouble with it. Because they have done Mario Maker in GDQ before, but they've always done it as the random, or not the random races. As the blindfolded, or the blind races, where you have a bunch of really talented Mario Maker 2 runners running levels they've never seen before. I always loved it when that happened, because obviously I like Mario Maker, but they haven't had one in a few GDQs now. First run? No, I had to reset like 5 or 7 times Pelosi. Not my first run of the day. I got stuck before World 2 for a while, and then I died in World, or what was that? What did I do wrong? That was not correct. I got stuck before World 2 trying to get my P-Switch strat, and then I also died in 5-1 the first time I got out of World 2. So this is like not my first run of the day, for sure. Oh, you can chat with your chat all day long while playing, you just can't explain the glitches. That's true. Also, like, explaining the tech in the game is a different strategy. You ran it in Calithon, and again this weekend in MSSF and GOC. Nice! Oh my goodness. That's epic. Dude, I've only done one marathon. I can't even imagine doing, like, multiple marathons and, like, the skill it takes to get into multiple marathons, so super huge congrats on that. Whee. I don't know if I caught the messenger, though. I think that might have been when I was trying to get sleep so I wouldn't fall asleep during hosting sessions. What am I doing on this level right now? This is entirely not my strategy. Like, it didn't kill me, but that wasn't correct. Yes. What seldom seen kid said. Good luck at the upcoming marathons. You did 5 this month? Dude, that's so many. Oh my goodness. So maybe it'll be a giant break from both messenger and speedruns. Dude, I can imagine that. I was super stressed preparing for a single marathon. Like, messed up my sleep schedule during the marathon to watch everything. Did a ton of practice, extra streams that week trying to get everything set up. I can't imagine doing, like, more than one of those a month. See, that is a lot, not just me. Yes, self-deserved break. Oh, man. But good luck. Yeah, definitely sounds like May will be a good time to take it easy. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, speedrunning can be definitely a bit of a tax. Like, it's about, like, this game with it being longer, there's definitely so much focus you want to be having for it. Like, you have a long run, want to be able to do the run. Oh, and it's so easy, like, again, once you start to get stressed about it, then things get a lot harder, but oh well. But yeah, think about, like, explaining stuff. I don't know, my mom was a teacher, so I feel like I always had a good model on, like, how to do explanation for things, and then I was a TA in college for a bit, so that gave me practice on how to explain random technical things. Like, I was a TA for a computer science course, and then specifically my job is what's called a PM, which stands for, like, project manager, program manager, depending on who you ask. And that's basically a translator between developers who, like, code software and customers who, like, ask for software things. So definitely part of my job is being able to explain things in a way that people can understand. So that's a skill that I've been practicing, and so I'm glad that I'm able to use that as something that can help me with marathon commentary for sure. Oh boy. I still want to make tutorials for this game so that people can get into speedrunning this game easier, but man, I started looking at, like, my commentary for just the first world and it was already like a 20-minute video, so I was like, oh, I don't know if this is my best plan. Okay, that hammer bro pattern was not super nice, but managed to read it okay, so we're still good to go. And Bowser didn't jump, so that's nice Bowser at the end. So we're gonna be doing pretty darn good on time going into World 18. And I wanted to just, oh, another gold split! Dude, this run is epic. So I wanted to be ahead going into World 18 because World 18 has basically no time save, but World 17 was the other place where I died. I died on 17-1 in my PB, so that was my last time save. I've got no more time save at this point. Just gonna try not to lose it. Oh, well. Oh, welcome back, Juice! You remember taking classes about those things? It's originally schools for software dev, just life happened? Yeah. I was originally computer science as well, but decided to switch it up and do program management. Definitely is more what's interesting to me than what software development ended up being in practice. Like, I loved computer science as a major, but when I started doing internships, I quickly learned that software development was much more about Stack Overflow than, you know, coming up with new and cool algorithms on the run, so PM is definitely the right role for me. I like this one a lot better. Okay. I have the fire flowers, so I have to wait. I think from here? Yeah, okay, we're good. Fire flower makes this section harder because you can't fire too early or you'll unleash the thwomps and then they'll come down and attack you early and then you end up dead, which is not really what you want to have happen. You definitely want the thwomps to hit the blocks and not the Mario, because if they hit the Mario, you are dead. Thankfully there's a checkpoint, but still, not what you want to do. Ah, I dodged the shell. You want to go down in that section to dodge the Bowser Jr. shell. Otherwise it will hit Mario, and, like, it doesn't kill you, but it's half of a second of time loss because of the damage boost, so I was a little bit high on that section. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it under the shell, but made it, so yay, that's a good thing. TY. Yo, Claude. Yes, I know, the golds are happening. This is good. And they're not even on World 11. I usually get my golds on World 11 just because that's the one I always forget to split. And so it just has fewer reps in it than the other ones do. There's just, like, fewer times. But later ones like this is cool. And, like, you know, 6.9 seconds, pretty nice. I'll take that. Oh, Wiggler level. Okay, I'm good to go. To be fair, I guess later worlds are probably easier to get golds on than, like, the first few worlds. because I just don't get to these in runs quite as often, right? Like, I get to World 5 often enough. I don't get to World 17 on 18 on all of my runs. Probably not even most runs. So it makes sense that there's more opportunities to get gold splits on these later ones, like World 15, World 17. And I already said, World 17 I was doing new strats. Or sorry, World 15 I was doing new strats. I don't think I had new strats on World 17, so that just meant I had really good execution this time around. I'll take it. 148 Sob. Yeah, 140. Oh, 140 is some of best, not Sob as in sad. I completely misread that message, but yeah, wait, that's actually epic. 140 is some of best. That is quite awesome. I'm excited about that. I like seeing my sum of best going down. That's like another small victory. Yay. The problem is now I looked... Oh, yeah. See, look at these cycles. Have to wait for this one now. You don't get to World 5, you gotta do something. Getting to World 5 without dying is, like, surprisingly difficult. And the thing with World 5 is you really don't want to die before World 5. So, yeah. Definitely a difficult reset point. And then as soon as you get to World 5, you have to deal with 5-1. And it's like, really? Of all the things, like... Spring Koopas? Spring Koopas is the first thing you throw at me after I get out of the tutorial worlds? Great. Thanks, game. That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay. Spring room. This is not a spring room. This is a red coin room. I think I'm getting it mixed up because I've gotten re-obsessed with Five Nights at Freddy's for like the 50th time. Security Breach is coming out. I'm super excited. And one of the characters is like Springtrap or Spring Bunny. And so I think the word spring is just in my head. Plus, you know, 5-1 has springs. Although I love the Spring Bunny and like Springtrap characters because they're bunnies. I like bunnies a lot. Okay, this room. Let's go. Okay, we're Alright, I seriously am getting super nervous and I really need to get my heart rate back under control because the more nervous I am, the more likely I am to like screw up and lose a bunch of this time. But that room can go super bad and I miss it more often than I want to admit. So I'll check my Fitbit after this to see what I'm at, but like I'm not cruising right now in terms of like chillness. 86. Okay, we're not that bad. I looked at it, so now it's 87. This is okay. Like I said, 70 is closer for sitting, so it's definitely going up. But we haven't hit 100 yet, so it's all good to go. Still good to go. Oh my goodness. I swear I was in the middle of a point and got distracted by Magic Koopas, and I completely lost track of what I'm saying. So I apologize if I left a thought hanging there, but... Sorry. Maybe it's good. See, I screwed that up. That's like such a small thing, but now I'm getting frustrated at the small things. This is not good. Calmness. FYI, the reason you shoot fire here is just in case Bowser trolls you. It's faster to kill him with fire if he misses this jump. So you want him to kill or die in the pit. Technically, it's optimal to fire kill him in the IL, but like not in any percent because you rarely get the right pattern. But you hit him with fire in case he doesn't fall in that pit. There are times when he doesn't fall in the pit, and then backing up into killing him with fire is faster than waiting for him to jump into the pit a second time. So, FYI on that strat. And then as soon as you get the fire flower there is when you can start to fire toward this Bowser. So. Whee. This level has a bit of randomness to it. Whoa, okay, that was actually a super fast Bowser fight. If you kill Bowser before he has a chance to leave the pit, that's actually really good Bowser fight skills, so. Nice Bowser fighting. Yeah, this level's nice. Just I love the Bowser fights in this game. I know I said that before, but there's so much activity in them, right? There's so much more interactivity. A lot of levels, you're jumping, but you're not really worrying about the enemies, because if you jump at the same place, you don't even have to know that there are enemies there, and you'll still clear over them. Whereas that level, you have to be constantly monitoring Bowser. Like, this will sound like it's off topic, but one of the other games I like, even though I don't play it anymore because it's toxic, is League of Legends. And my favorite role in League of Legends was support. And it's because when you're in the supportive role, you're watching so many things at once. Like, you're not just watching the enemy team. Please keep flying, Mario. Why is my flying so off today? But you're constantly watching your own player, your own AD carry to see what they're doing and trying to read what your player is doing and what the other players are doing. And like, there's so much back and forth movement and predictions on, okay, here's where they're moving, so here's where I need to adjust. So much micro positioning. I loved that aspect of the game. I wasn't good at it in team fights, but I loved it in laning phase. I actually really liked laning phase, which is kind of an oddity for League of Legends. But that's what I feel like the Bowser fights give you too, is like, you're not just doing the same thing every time, you're constantly watching Bowser and adjusting to him, and I like that sort of back and forth adjustment. It makes me wonder if I'd like some of the more random speed games. Like, I'm not a huge fan of RNG because I think it's frustrating, but maybe something that's RNG in a way that doesn't save or lose like all of the time. Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit quiet here because reasons. Hopefully obvious reasons. Oh my goodness, this level. Check my heart rate after this one too. Okay, hit the bomb. I missed a spin put, but we're still good. You can drop one twirl there and not die. I have actually died on that level before because I just forgot to jump onto the last bomb. That level is the one that really makes me nervous near the end of the run. The next level, oh, it hasn't gone up that much. Apparently my heart's doing okay, even though it doesn't feel like it is. That's the last level where like it's really easy to die. Now I can still 100% die on this next level, 18-7. Have lost a run to this before. And this is like the slowest place to lose a run because it's a really long auto-scroller, but like 18-6 is the one that makes me so scared for a last-minute death because of how incredibly easy it is to die. Oh, seriously taking deep breaths over here. I apologize. Like, I'm trying to... My mid-run commentary definitely takes a nosedive when I'm on good pace this late because normally with commentary it's like, okay, I'm focused on playing the game and I'm focused on talking to chat, so we're all good to go. This time around, I'm focused on playing well and talking to chat, although I know I'm behind on messages, sorry again. But I'm also intently focused on trying to stay calm and much more focused than normal on like not dying. Because I'm definitely like, as much as I'm trying not to think about it, I'm nervous. That's what's happening. And you know what? It's okay. This has been a good run. We'll just have to see what happens at the end of it. I'm gonna keep doing my best. Gonna keep trying. Gonna hopefully succeed. We'll see what we can do with this. Alright, that's one thing down. One wiggler I don't have to worry about. Let's go get the second one. Look at how slowly I'm talking to try to trick my voice into thinking I'm watching like a kid's cartoon. That's not stressful. Oh, that was close. I don't actually know how close you have to be to the bullet bill launcher to keep it from spawning the wiggler, but it's not. I always get nervous on that one. Okay. So how's everyone else's day been? Well, I'm glad I streamed tonight. I was very much debating back and forth, like, am I going to stream tonight? Am I going to, like, try to catch up? I've got, like, a book club thing on Monday or Sunday morning, and I have not read the book yet, and that's okay. Like, I'm not behind, but I need to start reading it either tonight or tomorrow because it's not a short book. And worst case, I could read the whole thing on Saturday, but I think that would be a not fun Saturday because I'd get a headache from it. So I was debating tonight, oh, do I want to stream or do I want to start reading this book? And I ended up landing on streaming because the other two people who run this game streamed today and I was feeling left out. Like, wait, I didn't know we were all streaming today. No one told me. Why did I miss the secret memo about this game? So I decided to stream because of that. So yay, we're here now. I think that meme of the guy asking, by the way, I looked down and hit next to make sure I didn't start over because that'd be the saddest possible way to lose this run. I think of that meme of the guy asking at support players how, and the response is bad at aiming, scared, bad at aiming, yes, scared. I mean, to be fair, if you can't CS, if you can't do the creep score thing, support's a good role. And I've never learned jungler, so like my two roles are support or top lane. That's it. You've got bottom lane support, love playing like caster supports, and not really great at the go in all in supports. And then top lane I like playing Cho'Gath, just because I used to watch someone named Hotshot GG on one of my former favorite teams, CLG. I'm now a Cloud9 fan. Play Cho'Gath a lot and just thought it looked super cool, and so learned that, and that's like one of my few top lane champs. But like I said, I don't really play that much anymore because the community and chat were just so toxic a lot of the time. I still watch the pros play, that's super fun, but I have long since stopped playing any games of my own. I actually played a lot in college too, and I think what really broke it for me was there was a summer where I was interning and other interns would also play League of Legends, so after work we would just all go play League of Legends together. And playing League of Legends with a pre-made 5 is super duper fun because no one is gonna like randomly be sexist in chat or randomly, seriously, this is my time loss here, rip. No one's gonna be like weirdly rude or into blame you for everything that's gone wrong in their life. But as soon as you stop playing with pre-made 5s, all those things come back. So yeah, I think that's what broke it for me. Like, I don't think I can go back to solo queue League. I think I could only go back to like playing with friends. And I would love to play with friends again, but just don't really have League friends. And that's okay. You know, I'm enjoying watching the games and then participating in the speedrunning community instead. This is fine. Wow, I'm just doing lots of small things. There was like an extremely small chance that I got sub 150 on this run if like I executed everything perfectly. But I think that's solidly gone now. I'm probably losing 20 to 30 seconds. Come on, Mario. You can do this. 20 to 30 seconds just from mistakes on this level. Or 10 to 30. I don't actually know. I'm not as clear on what mistakes on this level are going to look like compared to my PB. But that's still going to be a good run if I can finish this out without dying. So, fingers crossed. Whee. There we go. Just tell yourself this run is terrible. Yep, this one sucks. I messed up. Nope, this run is awful. Might as well reset. But, you know, people are watching, so I won't reset. Like, I'll finish it just for all of you. But really, you can go home now. Nothing exciting is happening. It's okay. You're productive today and did lots of homework, then played... I'm trying to read the message. Then played chess variants with some friends, so you had a pretty solid day. I'm glad you had a solid day. That is a good way to go. Alright. Well, I actually have to do running a small Mario. Well, there we go. Really slow ending Bowser fight there, but... Dang, though. What death? Why did I... Okay, what's really sad is if you weren't watching, my one death was just about the dumbest possible death. Do you want to know what level I died on? Ahem. I died on 11-2 because I failed to fly in a straight line. That was my death for this run. Of all the dumb ways to die in a single death run, you've got to be kidding me. At the same time, this gives me so much more confidence in being that close to deathless, because only one death and having that be the one death means that I can definitely get deathless soon. I'm so excited. This is also a new world record, by the way, by over a minute. Oh, I was trying to stay calm in the last level, but I'm kind of freaking out now. Peer pressure. Sad spring strat. I know, right? Oh my goodness. GG's. Oh, thanks for all the GG's. Right, yeah. For moment, I know. That one death is so sad. So the random time save is like World 10, which is so uncommon for time save. World 10 is never the place where I have time to save, but... Look at this. I think we actually ended up with 2 golds. I think it was just those last 2. I missed, as is tradition, I still can't split World 11, so after the run I'll have to go back and watch that one. Yay. Otherwise, yeah, just that one death. So World 10 death? Or was it 10? I thought it was 10. Oh, sorry, it's 11-2. 11-2. So even, unfortunately, the split that you can't see is the one where I lost all the time. But yeah. Managed to hold steady then and just not make mistakes, or at least not major ones for the rest of the run. So that was exciting. Sub 150 super soon. I know. So actually, like, I don't think I've been super confident that no deaths equals sub 150. But if I had not died and lost 30 seconds there, this would have been sub 150. And there's now, thank goodness, time save in World 18 for me again, because that's been murdering my face every time I get there. So yeah, sub 150 is definitely possible with 0 deaths. You could probably get there with 1 death and like really clean gameplay, because I lost about 20 seconds on 16-4. If I go back to that one, I guess only 10 off of my PB, but like that was definitely a questionable one. So, oh my goodness. Watch me, know me. Oh my goodness. You guys, I just finished the run. I am gonna sleep, hopefully. Actually, dang it. When I finish PBs, I want to get them uploaded, so I might... Okay, so this is the question. Do I stay up for an extra 2 hours to start this uploading to YouTube so I can publish it tomorrow morning? Or do I actually go to bed on time and be a productive human being tomorrow? Feel free to make your guesses. Oh, you mean first stream equals world record? Yeah, this is my first stream post-Calithon. So I've been practicing a little bit on the side, but this is my first stream of real any percent attempts in like a week and a half because of all the Calithon prep and the fact that I didn't stream this weekend because of Calithon. So one of the things that is not surprising, I guess, is that if you practice a whole bunch for a marathon, it turns out you also get better at the game. Whoa! Practicing makes you better at the game. Who could have predicted this? That's one of the reasons I wanted to be streaming this week, especially now. It's like I felt like I was getting close to doing better because of how consistent I was getting at like a 153 pace. So yeah, maybe next time deathless. We'll have to see. I don't think I have enough energy to run this back and try to get deathless on a backup attempt, but yeah. This race to sub 150 is going to be super hype. I know, it's so close. It's right there. I did get the first single death run. I now am the world record holder also for fewest deaths in a completed speed run of this game. I see go to sleep, go to bed. Okay, vote is to go to bed. I'll try to do that. Pretty crazy you've improved the world record by 2.5 minutes since you started watching. Yeah, the movement lately in this game has been pretty phenomenal, right? Like, just you've been challenging really, really hard on this one, so that's been cool to see. I've gotten a lot more consistent at not dying. Like, the fact that I had 2 streams in a row with 2 deaths was wild to me. That's one of the reasons I was feeling more confident. Then that plus all of the practice for the marathon. Like, I'm feeling so much better about this game, and I'm glad that it's showing on stream, too. It's not just like, oh, I feel better about this, but I can't show it because I keep dying on things like, that was awesome. That was a really good run. That's the best run that anyone's ever done. That's why it's called a world record. Clearly, I do need to go to sleep because, like, I don't have enough brain cells left to do coherent commentary. Oh my goodness. Soon no death will be the norm. I know, it's gonna be rough when a single death is a reset. But we're not there yet. We still have another 22 seconds to go before we have to worry about that one. But yeah, first deathless run, first sub 150. Oh, thanks, side characters. First deathless run, first sub 150 run are both going to be really cool milestones. I definitely want to get them because I think that'd be cool. And I think Palunxi got most of the other milestones. I think Palunxi got first sub 10 deaths, first sub 2, which were the other ones I was looking at like months ago. So I'd like to get these ones, but honestly, it's going to be cool for the game as a whole, if anyone can beat those times, if anyone can get that new record. So time's right there. Good luck, you two. Your turn. All right, that is it for me today for stream though. Obviously I do need some sleep, but yeah, every minute berry is gonna be huge from this point on. Yes, it definitely is. But thank you so much everyone who is watching. Thank you everyone for your support. Thanks again for all the compliments on my Calithon run. Like, it really just makes me so happy. I may be back Saturday morning. We may be doing a race between the 3 of us who run the game, myself, Jason, Palunxi. We should sync up on that and make sure we're all on the same page on that one. And then I will be back. Normal stream time for me is Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific, so I'll be back on Sunday at my normal stream time, and we'll see if we can get this one deathless. But thanks, everyone. Have a good day.